Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So if you're a beginner, you may be wondering, how do most of these advanced piano players, how are they able to play some of these advanced chords with ease, that is without thinking much? Okay, so when I say advanced chords, I mean stuff like this. So you can see these chords I'm playing are far beyond basic. You know, most beginners are just used to playing major chords, minor chords, and the likes. But in this video, I'm going to teach you a very simple trick that you can use to be able to play most of these advanced chords with ease without thinking much. So the general idea is just this. Instead of seeing all these chords like the major 7, the major 9, and the likes, instead of seeing all these big chords as a single unit, it's best advisable to kind of break them down into smaller units so that your brain will be able to comprehend or assimilate them more. Okay, I just hope you get the concept. So let me explain what I mean. For example, this is the first chord in F sharp, which is this. Okay, so if I should play this chord in a major 7 format, it's going to be like this. Okay, so this is F sharp major 7 chord because I'm adding the 7th note of the scale. Okay, so instead of thinking of this chord as a single unit like this, it might look a little bit complicated for beginners. So the best way you can think of this chord is just split the chord. Okay, I'm thinking of this as if I'm playing my 1 on the left hand, my chord 1 all over the chord 3 on my right hand. Okay, so this becomes 1 over 3. That's just what I'm thinking about. And the combination of this chord produces what we call the F sharp major 7 chord, which is one of the advanced chords we have. Okay, so you can see I feel it's easier. Instead of just thinking about the amount of notes you have to kind of memorize to play this chord like this, you just break it down, just thinking of 1 over 3. And it's very simple. Okay, so this is just one instance. The general idea is just, instead of thinking of all these big chords as a single unit, just think of a way you can break down the chord into like 2 chords that are combining to produce that advanced chord. It works most of the time and it's easier to comprehend for beginners instead of thinking of the amount of notes you have to kind of hold to be able to produce these chords, which could be complicated for beginners. So let me give you the last example and then I'm going to share with you a kind of template that you can use for your major 7, your major 9, and some few other advanced chords. I think the major 7 and the 7th chord and the 9th chord are kind of the most popular. I'm going to teach you a kind of template that you can use to play all these chords on all your chord degree. That is on the chord 1, the chord 2, the chord 3, the chord 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, I'm going to teach you a very simple template you can use. But before then, let me just give you one more example of what I'm saying so that you understand better. So let me show you another big chord. Watch this. This is the 4th chord in F sharp. So this is where I might choose to play this chord. You can see which is a major 9 form. Instead of just playing it in the basic form, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th chord, but look at where I'm playing it. And you can see this sounds kind of richer than just playing this. Okay? So you can see I'm holding a whole lot of notes, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm holding 6 notes at the same time, and it might look complicated. So, but actually, the trick I'm using is just what I taught you. Instead of just thinking of this chord as a single unit, in my mind, I'm thinking of it as 2 chords that I'm playing at the same time to produce an advanced chord. So let me show you the chord. This is what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about playing my 6th chord on my right hand. So this is the 6th chord in the key of F sharp. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is this. So this is the 6th chord, and I'm playing it over the 4th chord. Okay, so this is the 4th chord in the key of F, the key of F sharp rather. Okay, but it's actually in a sus2 form, which is this. I'm sustaining the 2nd, but this is the 4th chord. So when I just play this chord all over the 6th chord, it produces this major 9 chord. Okay, and I can use this in a worship song. Okay, okay, So I just hope you get the concept, guys. It's actually up to you the way you want to break it down. You can just think about any two chord you can combine to produce that advanced chord instead of just thinking of that chord as a single unit. Now, just as I promised, let me teach you a very simple template that you can use to play all this major 7 chord, major 9, and the likes on all your chord degrees in the scale. I'm going to go to the key of C for this template that I'm going to be teaching you so that you're going to understand better, especially if you're a beginner, so that everybody can kind of follow along, okay? So we're in the key of C right now, okay? So let's start with the major 7th chords. So a very simple template you can use for playing major 7th chord on all the chord degrees. Let's start from the chord 1. So in the key of C, this is the chord 1, okay? This is the 2, this is the 3, this is the 4, 5, 6, 7. You know that already. So this is the 1 in the key of C. So if I want to play this chord, if I want to convert this chord 1 to a major 7th chord, the template you can just use is just this. Just think about playing your 1 over 3. And that is your major 7th chord of your chord 1. Okay? So 1 over 3. And remember, you can voice it whichever way you want. So if I can choose to play it like this. This is my 1. This is my 3. Okay? So instead of just thinking about this chunk of notes, just break it down and play my 1 over 3. And that's good. So for the second chord of the major 7, and if you want to turn the second chord in any key to a major 7, just think about playing the 2 over 4. Okay? And that's a minor 7, sorry to say, which is still the 7th chord. But this time around, you know, the second chord in a key, in a major scale, is always a minor chord. So that's why it makes it a minor 7 chord. For the third chord, you play 3 over 5. And that turns it to a minor 7 chord. Okay? So let's recap quickly. So for the 1 chord, 1 over 3. For the 2, to convert the 2 to a 7th chord, you play the 2 over 4. Okay? For the third chord, to convert it to a 7th chord, you play 3 over 5. Okay? The fourth chord, you play 4 over 6. And that's a major 7 chord already. The fifth chord, you play the 5 over the 7. That's a G dominant 7th chord, which is still a type of a 7th chord. Okay? Which is still a type of 7th chord rather. So for the 6th chord, you play 6 over 1. And that makes it a minor 7. While for the 7th chord, you play 7 over, you can play 7 over 2. Okay? This is actually a minor 7 flat 5. Or you can make it this way. So whichever way works for you. So I hope you get the concept. So this is the template you can just use. So this is my 1 7 chord, my 2 7 chord, my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Okay? So remember, you can voice this chord whichever way you want, but this is just kind of like a template that can help you to be able to master them without having to think of the whole chord as a whole. Just break them down and it's going to be easier. So let's move to major 9, the 9th chords. Okay? So remember, we have the major 7, which is one type of advanced chord. We also have the 9th chord. So now, how can you be able to master this? So let me show you first. This is the C major 9 chord. So this is another advanced chord we have in the key of C. So you can see, just see the amount of notes I'm holding. It's actually much. So this might be a bit complicated for beginners. So instead of thinking of this as a single unit, we are just going to be breaking it down. So what I'm thinking about is just playing my 1, which is this, all over my 3. Okay? But this time around, the quality of the third chord I'm playing on my right hand is in a major 7th form. Okay? So that's actually what differentiates this 9th chord from the 7th chord. So it's still the same templates, okay? That is, when you want to play when you want to convert the 1 chord to a 7th chord, you play the 1 over 3, okay? If you want to convert the 2 to a 7th chord, you play 2 over 4, and the likes, just the way I taught you earlier. It's the same principle with these 9th chords. The only difference is just that on your right hand, the quality of the chord you're going to be using on your right hand is going to be 7th chords. I just hope that makes sense. I just hope you understand. It's the same template you're using for the previous one I just showed you, but the only difference is that for all the chord degrees, the quality of chord you're going to be playing on your right hand is going to be in major 7th form. So this is what I mean. So this is my one. If I want to play my one chord, which is this in the key of C, if I want to convert this chord to a major 9 chord, I will just play the 1 over 3. But this 3 chord is going to be in a 7th form. Okay. I just hope that makes sense. So 1 over 3, but the 3 is in a major 7th form. So I'm just thinking of these 2 chords, and I've already produced an advanced chord, which is the C major 9. So the same thing for the 2. To convert the 2 to a major 9 chord, you play the 2 over 4, but the 4th chord will be in the 7th form. Okay, so here is it. This is the 2nd chord. This is the 3rd chord. This is the 4th chord. The same principle. The 5th chord. Okay, the 6th chord. The 7th, or thereabouts, and back to the 1. Okay, which is this. Okay, so this is just a template you can use for your major 9th or your 9th chords rather. Okay. Now the last advanced chord I'm going to be teaching for this video is this 13 sus chord, which I love so much. It's actually a very beautiful chord that you can always use to get to your 1, or this chord kind of resolve to the 5, and then you now use the 5 chord to get to the 1. So which is this. This is how it sounds, something like this. This is the 13 sus. Okay. To the 5, 1. Okay, so we have the 13 sus, which is this, and you can also convert it to a 13 sus flat 9, which is this, which leads to the 1. Okay, so okay. So a very simple template you can use to be able to master this 13 sus chord of the chord 5. So most times it's very common to play the 13 sus of the 5th chord, which leads to the 5 chord, and then the 5 now leads to the 1. Or in the case of using 13 sus flat 9, most times you just use the 13 sus flat 9 to just get to the 1 directly. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So a simple template I use to master this 13 sus, which is an advanced chord you can play on your 5th chord, is actually, instead of thinking of the chord as a single unit like this, what I think about is just playing my 4 all over my 5 chord. Okay, and it creates this beautiful chord which resolve to the 1. Okay, okay, so I'm just thinking about the 4 over the 5 instead of just the whole chord as a single unit. So guys, I hope you get the concept. The general idea behind this is just make sure you see this chord, just find a way you can break down these big chords into smaller units so that your brain will be able to comprehend, instead of just thinking of it as a single unit, because the notes are actually much and it's going to be stressful to be able to kind of assimilate, especially if you're a beginner. And for how you can use all these chords or apply them in your worship is very simple. All you just need to do is places where you use major chord, minor chord, or basic chord, just substitute all these advanced chord in those places or those areas in your worship, and it's going to make you sound beautiful. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, if you find value, like and subscribe. We'll see you in our next video.